Happy Friday, I'm Chris and this is Francy. Today we'll be talking about the monster of Bolzano. His name is actually Marco Bergamo he was born in Italy, in Bolzano actually. That's why they called him the monster of Bolzano.
Our recipe today is going to be pasta puttanesca. It roughly translates to lady of the night or prostitute pasta. And there's a couple theories about where the recipe originated from. It's said to have originated about 60, 70 years ago. And one of the theories was it was just a really simple recipe for the women to make in between clients. Others believe that it has more to do with the aromatics of the recipe. So we're using very briny, salty capers. We have anchovies in here, we have olives. So that all combined has said to maybe replicate the scent of an Italian prostitute in the mid-century. So,
that always kills me, like this. The anchovies.
Yes, so very smelly. And then the other version that I found was a group of people late at night entered a restaurant as it was closing, and they were super hungry, and they had asked the chef to just come up with something out of the ingredients that he had left in the kitchen. And so you have this really simple recipe that just takes minutes to make, no frills and no complicated steps. I just started dicing up some tomatoes.
And I finished chopping and mincing garlic. So we'll talk about the monster of Bolzano. So Marco Bergamo was actually born August 6th in 1966. At the age of 4, he suffered from stuttering, obesity, and skin disease. So that all affected him emotionally and made him shy, introvert. He also was a sleepwalker and suffered from erotomania, which is basically him thinking that other people were intensely in love with him, which they weren't, but in his head, that's how he felt. He had a huge collection of knives, and by the time he was 26, he was a carpenter and welder. Marco suffered from a minor sexual perversion. He collected and stole women's underwear. Marco's hobbies included motoring, photography, and walking in the mountains. So how the crime started was Marco in his head believed that a woman poisoned his dog, and so afterwards he had this pure hatred for any woman because he believed that they killed his dog.
So I feel like this person, I mean, just from that alone, we know he's suffering some mental issues for sure. Marco's first victim was on January 3rd of 1985. She was just 15 years old. Her name was Marcella Casagrande, and she was found on her kitchen floor with several stab wounds. He had attacked her from behind. When they investigated the crime scene, they noted that the murderer would have had a great knowledge of the human anatomy, and he was really good with knives as well.
So Marco's second victim was Anna Maria Cipolleti, and she was a middle school teacher during the day and a prostitute at night. She was found dead in her studio where she did her prostitution with 19 stab wounds. They said that her underwear was missing and she had no sexual assaults. However, they had found a note saying Marco gone away.
So we've just gone on to chop some sardines. I'm using 4 sardines. You can also use fresh sardines for the recipe. We couldn't find any, so I'm using 4 of the sardines in oil. These are really, really salty, and so are the capers and the olives. So we're not gonna add any excess salt to the base of the sauce. Marco's third victim is 24-year-old Renata Rausch. She was found dead on January 7th of 1992, and she was left in a deserted parking lot. He later visited her grave and left a bouquet of flowers and a note. The note read, quote, "I'm sorry, but what I did had to be done, and you know it. Hello, Renata, signed MM."
That's so weird. Like, why would he say hello, Renata? Like, it's like super creepy. Anyway.
Very.
I have 20 Kamada olives depitted, and I'm coarsely chopping them. We'll talk about his fourth victim. His fourth victim was another Renata Troger. So Renata Troger was 18 years old, and she was found dead on March 21st, 1992. Her body was discovered in the square. She was stabbed 14 times and strangled to death. Like, stabbed 14 times and then strangled. Like, why would you, I don't know, to me that's crazy. And the square is basically, what were you saying the square is?
A square is basically like an outdoor strip mall. So we're gonna just add to a pan with some olive oil our diced up anchovies.
Sound the sizzle. I love that sizzle noise.
And then we're also gonna add our minced garlic and our capers.
Capers.
break that up. And we want to just toast our garlic a little bit.
Look at that.
Make the anchovy pieces a little bit crispy.
They kind of melt by the end of this. They don't really taste them in the sauce.
Yeah, you're not eating
Straight
really
up.
big chunks of anchovies. You can zoom in on that, I guess.
Oh, look at that sizzle.
So the sauce actually only takes 10 minutes on the stove, so it's super easy. And again, remember, we're not adding salt. It is quite salty already.
So there's different ways you can make this. You can add tomato paste and different noodles. We're doing just regular spaghetti noodles.
Yeah, traditionally they will use linguine or vermicelli, but we are using spaghetti. You can also use penne if you like.
Look at that sizzle, it's just crazy.
And
I love it.
you can see our garlic is getting nice and golden.
Oh, I wish you could smell this.
Yeah, it smells amazing. It's not as fishy as you would think, actually. So next I'm going to add my calamata olives.
Look at the color, it looks so good. So like my cutting.
Yeah, beautiful dicing.
No, it's not beautiful.
What's so nice about this recipe is it's not proofy at all. Super easy.
Yeah, honestly, it's easy to make things at home. Like we have no cooking skills professionally, but for a family, it's nice to just make them something different. And they all love this dish.
Yeah.
So pretty. So what are we adding next?
The next ingredient we're going to add is our diced fresh tomatoes. So like Chris mentioned, you could add tomato paste. Gives it a little bit more depth. I like to keep it really, really fresh tasting. You could also use just pureed tomato as well to give it a little bit more volume.
Oh my god, that looks so good already. So this is like another... Oh, sorry, what are we adding?
Okay. We're just adding couple pinches of red chili flakes.
Add as much as you like, because spicier you like it, add more, right?
Yep. Give it a stir. On this, because then you can see the tomatoes are cool still. I'm going to reduce the heat to medium.
Here, we'll simmer that for a bit.
10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Perfect. We'll do that. We'll come back to this.
Yeah.
Pasta's almost done here.
So the cooking time for pasta just varies on personal preference. I really like al dente. That's probably the most common. It has a little bit of a bite to it. You can chew it a little bit. If you overcook the pasta, it becomes super mushy. It all sticks together. And the texture of it is just not really yummy.
Not pleasant. And then the next day it's even worse, right? So
yeah,
you want to make sure that it's good for you even after the next day.
Yes, so we're just going to test out.
Do you toss it against the wall? No, you just eat it. Looks good. Is it ready?
Yeah, just count, and you can have a look at our sauce. You can see that the tomatoes have cooked down quite a bit. It made a really, really nice sauce. So before we strain our pasta, I'm actually just going to add a little bit of the pasta water to our sauce, just about 1/3 of a cup. A couple tablespoons you can add. And I'm just going to add that, and this really helps bring the sauce together. It helps
with the pasta.
Yeah.
They do that with, like I've seen that done so many times with any kind of pasta dish.
Yes.
That it really brings in the flavor more so.
Marco's fifth victim was 18-year-old Marika Zorzi. She was found dumped on the side of the road and left to die in agony from 28 stab wounds. This would be Marco's last victim, and she was found on August 6th of 1992. This was Marco's 26th birthday, and Marco was also arrested that day.
He did that as a celebration to himself. He killed the last victim for his birthday present. That's what he said, didn't he?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Disturbing.
So Marco was actually convicted life in prison on March 8th, 1994, which is actually International Women's Day. How crazy, what a coincidence.
Right.
He was supposed to be getting parole in 2008. However, the parole board declined him many times. Marco died in prison on October 17th, 2017 from a lung infection. So that closes the case, but honestly, I feel like he deserved worse punishment than that. We have this nice red wine, Modelo Massi. It's a Merlot. However, I didn't know this was a twist off, and I chomped the crap out of the top. So we'll be pouring that.
Yes. So during Marco's trial, we actually get a better understanding a little bit about his personality, or kind of what was brewing in that weird mind of his. He tells a few details of some of the crimes that he committed. He only ever admitted to 3 of the 5 victims, or murdering 3 of the 5 victims. We get to know that he is very insecure. He's very threatened by women. He's threatened of women being confident. He tells us about Marika Zorzi's murder and the fact that he only had 1 testicle, and once she discovered that, she didn't want to have relations with him, and he asked for
His money back. Yeah.
And this made Marika angry, and then it just fueled the whole situation. It fueled
Escalated everything, and then he ended up stabbing her.
Yes.
Numerous times. But yeah, no, it just shows how somebody's insecurities get the best of them, and they turn and disillusion whatever reality is, and just take it out on poor victims. Like, these women didn't deserve this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
And again, they didn't discuss anything about the relationship with his mother, so maybe she wasn't in his life. That might have been the case, but he had a very warped idea of women.
Of reality, too. And actually, his father hung himself shortly after the trial began because he was so ashamed of his son.
So sad.
Yeah. Well, bon appetit!
Yeah, we have our finished product. We're going to enjoy it with some wine.
Perfect.
We're going to taste our pasta.
This looks amazing, and it smells amazing. Oh my god.
So good.
That's really good. The
So
flavors are just so amazing.
So again, this was super easy. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
Join us next week for a new dish and a new crime. Bye.
Bye.